A fusing of the Spector sound with Cohen's lyrics would obviously lead to a radical departure from previous releases. The producer decided, like John Lezor and John Simon before him, to juxtapose Cohen's voice with female singers. He decided to push this idea further on 3 tracks by having Cohen duet with the actress and country singer Ronnie Blakley, who had recently been a part of Bob Dylan's Rolling Thunder Revue tour.
All voices blend with Leonard, but I think female voices are especially touching. Leonard has, in his voice, a slight trembling from time to time, which is extremely vulnerable and real and present and there. It's at the front of his head. Even though it almost has a rumbling sound, almost a biblical sound at times, it can also sound very sensitive and charming. And this sound that he has, in addition to the rabbinical quality of his Jewishness, if I may say so, is almost what in Christian music would be called bel canto or cantus firmus, the kind that monks would sing, and that invites the addition of a sixth or a third above or below as a harmony. It just invites it and therefore complements it.
As the mist leaves no scar on the dark green hill, so my body leaves no scar on you and never will.
You know, Leonard's great when he has a female singer singing behind him. It complements him so well. And I just remember one night there was a session, and I walked into, there was a coffee room outside the studio, and somebody walked in, and he looked really familiar to me, but I didn't know who it was, but I thought it was some rocker or something. And I was in the studio half hour later, and the person had come in with a couple of other people, and I looked at him, and I did like a triple take 30 minutes later and said, "That's Bob Dylan, and that must be Ronnie Blakley, and that's Allen Ginsberg." And I was like starstruck, I have to tell you.
It was a wonderful experience. Just imagine yourself to be in the studio with Bob Dylan, Allen Ginsberg, Leonard Cohen, and Phil Spector. Isn't that heaven?
Yet the working atmosphere was far from heaven. Spector, after years of being teetotal, was drinking heavily again and acting dictatorially in the studio, and Cohen soon found that he had little control over the producer or the record.
Phil is really a take charge type of man. He wants to be in control of the situation. It's like an artist's palette. He's holding the brush, and I would almost say like Leonard Cohen was the subject, you know. So you know, Leonard wasn't a man of a lot of words in the studio. Phil, you know, controlled the musicians and, you know, produced, you know, Leonard in front of the microphone singing, and you know, he essentially ran the show.
Well, they were both very comfortable. There is a slight but to my voice, as you may have heard, a slight hesitation, because when an artist is branching out into new territory, it is unsafe and insecure, and everybody's finding their footing. It's not familiar, it's not the old turf, and so therefore it's a little bit frightening.
I got along fine with Leonard. I got along fine with everybody. I even got along fine with Phil.